Welcome to the Own It Powercast, the place to be when you get serious about making big changes and accelerating growth in your life and in your relationships. Finally create the life you've always wanted, living life on your own terms. Learn how to take your fear and turn it into powerful choices that will create sustained change. Now your host, Mary Baker.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own It Powercast, a place where you can come to get what you need to move yourself forward. Hey, it's Mary Baker, and welcome to episode 43, Using Your Inner GPS. This month, it's all about our inner knowing, our internal guidance system, our inner GPS. And I would say it's about getting quiet, getting clear with us, regardless of what we believe in. But first, I want to check in with all of you to see how you are doing. I know this is a very difficult time, and as I was saying to a friend the other day, I think it's a real continuum. Some of us are inconvenienced. We're working from home. We're waiting to find out when we can buy toilet paper again. In the middle where we are struggling, some of us are really struggling financially. Some of us have been laid off. We've been furloughed. We're running out of money. And at the other end are the people in ICU on ventilators or the people losing loved ones. And those people on the front lines, thank you for what you do. And everyone else delivering groceries and working in grocery stores and in other places where they are constantly exposed. You are heroes. It's almost as if this is the great reset, the great equalizer where things change. I've noticed more people spending time with their kids, more people outside with their kids, more people getting exercise, not driving. I mean, look at the cleaner air that we're experiencing. There are some very awful things going on with this COVID, and there's also what I keep hearing are silver linings. So I try to keep looking for the good things about this and looking for the helpers and trying to be a helper. And it's just amazing to me to see the wonderful good things that people are doing, what they're donating, what they're creating for others, what they're doing for others. May this experience bring out the best in us. Okay, so in this episode, I think it's really good to get a little deeper about what is your internal guidance system. And again, like I said with the last episode, you can be wherever you need to be with this. You can interpret everything I'm saying here in a way that works for you. So I try to keep it very broad and very open for that reason, so that it could be accessible for most people. So if you look at your inner wisdom, your inner GPS, how are ways that you know that you're using it or experiencing it? And I'm going to go over a few of these. I'm sure there's more. Some people have a physical sensation. They have a visceral reaction. Some people can get the goosebumps or the tingles, or the hair stands up on the back of their neck, or they get very tired or very excited. I mean, all kinds of bodily sensations that people can get. Some people have visual sensations. There are those who have shared with me that they have premonition dreams. They have premonition visions where something will happen in their mind very quickly, and then 2 days later, the same thing almost exactly happens. So all kinds of really neat things. There's the gut. The gut is what we usually speak to when we talk about intuition or inner knowing, gut feelings. You know, like something feels so right or so wrong, a foreboding, maybe a fear that kicks in, or I don't think that's the right way to go kind of feeling. Okay, so there are physical reactions that people can have. It is said that there are other ways for us to know that we're being guided. One of them is called synchronicity. And how that's interpreted is meaningful coincidences that happen. And meaningful ones because they matter to you, they resonate with you. And so And I've put the links in the show notes for you. But on a website I found, they said, often the universe sends us signs in the form of synchronicity. When we are on the right path, little coincidences occur often. We may receive a call from someone we were thinking of, or the exact information we need to make an informed decision. We may ask the universe for guidance and receive it in the form of intelligence from a friend, or just the right book falling into our hands. When these things happen, you know you are receiving divine guidance and that you are on the right path in life. The article goes on to say, conversely, when everything seems a struggle and things always seem to go wrong, the universe is asking you to look at your life and make adjustments. Struggle rarely gets us where we want to be. In this case, it is best to take a step back, breathe, and think about the direction of our lives. Ask the universe for further guidance and see what comes up. So the belief that synchronicity, if things aren't really falling into place, if you have to work against, to push against the tide, a lot of people believe you may want to step back and take a look at that, maybe the universe or your higher power, whatever you believe in, is trying to tell you something. People talk a lot about signs and symbols. And again, I found another article that used the example, like you might be invited to a party and you don't feel like going, but somehow you feel like you should, quote unquote, go anyway. Something pulls you there. So you decide to follow the hunch. And lo and behold, there you meet someone who play an important role in your life somehow. And she says, the mind wants a self-serving reason to go. Like, what's in it for me? What do I get? How will this serve me? And I interpreted that too, like, what kind of outcomes can I try to control in my head? Well, the heart knows and sees the whole picture. And we can't make any conclusions about anything because we can't possibly know or see the whole picture. Now, that taps into, I think, a lot of different belief systems. Those who believe in a higher power or God or Allah, the idea, the paradigm, I guess, is that we don't have all the answers and we're not supposed to, which is why we need a higher being. And so therefore we can't see the big picture. We may not know why what is happening today is part of a greater good. Maybe something bigger for our life or someone else's life. So there's that. She goes on to say that something that may appear wrong usually turns out to be a blessing in disguise later on. Only then do we understand or see what it's all about. So to learn to discern with the heart is vital, she says, because sometimes what feels wrong is wrong actually. Other people believe that when things feel like they're falling apart, that they're actually falling together, that you are shedding something or lightening the load, helping you let go of what's called dead wood, like old beliefs, outdated behaviors, relationships, situations that are keeping you stuck. Kind of the concept of the storm is awful, but it's very cleansing and it clears the air. You can breathe better the next day after the storm. So pretty much your inner GPS is something that you feel. You'll feel it. It'll resonate. You'll get the goosebumps. You'll have a knowing. Another way is that people show up at the right time. Almost like soon after you asked for help. And whether you said that out loud to a friend, whether you prayed about that, whether you just vented into your pillow of your frustration, or you journaled it, you asked for help. Like, I don't know how to do this. Who knows how to do this? Who can help me? Or I'm not sure. The other belief is when 3 people out of the blue kind of ask you the same damn thing within a matter of days. Jokingly, but some people are very serious, they say, it's time to listen to that. Like, what is that about? It keeps showing up, and it keeps popping up till you can't ignore it, is the belief. You'll see it everywhere. People will keep saying something. It'll keep resonating. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe our subconscious mind is just looking for those things, but it is kind of fascinating to think about how does that work when other people out of the blue say, hey, when are you going to write that book? On Chopra.com, there's an article, and the writer says, the universe doesn't have any limits on how it will speak to you. For example, a person may show up at your workplace wearing a t-shirt with a particular phrase on it. Or maybe you'll notice patterns in dealing with the people in your life, such as conversations about a specific topic that you cannot escape for a few days. So the idea is signs and symbols and nudges can show up from anywhere in probably the craziest forms and the craziest ways. So whether you believe it's just your subconscious pulling data together or looking for things in your environment because you're already thinking about that, or whether that is divine guidance or something in between, who knows? Most of the resources talk a lot about, in order to be able to utilize this guidance, that we have to really practice letting go of outcomes, letting go of control, like how it's supposed to roll out. Now, most of us don't like to let go of that because the other half of the day, everyone's telling us, no, you need to plan, you need to be organized, you need to be goal-oriented, you need to make shit happen, you got to go, 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 don't give up, assert your will. It's hard to know which one we're supposed to do more of. And I think that is what is a struggle that a lot of clients run into. How much do they use effort and how much do they let go? Usually the rule of thumb is whatever is actually within your control, like you can actually do or stop doing, there's your answer. Whereas things outside of your control, those are the things that you, like a friend of mine says, throw out to the universe and see what happens. If you're spiritual and you're religious, maybe you pray. Maybe you journal about it. Maybe you just put it in a box and let it go. Whatever works for you. The other idea is to be open and flexible about what comes to you. And again, that can be difficult. Maybe we have a plan of how we'd like things to be, and letting that go can be challenging because we're told to not give up on our dreams. I think being flexible means maybe there's more than one path to get there. Maybe there are some detours that we need to take to get there, and we don't see the purpose or the need for those detours until we get to the end and we look back and we say, oh, that's why I had to take that detour. I had to learn something. I had to figure something else out. I had to work through something that was actually an obstacle holding me back, and I didn't realize it. Like, a lot of people have detours where there are hiccups in their plans because they weren't very disciplined around something. And so they had to stop working on their dream for a moment, go get some discipline. But then down the road, they see how that served them so much, and they didn't even realize that that was going to be a variable. So when you take a detour, don't get so freaked out by it. As long as these are not detours where we are self-sabotaging, the detours usually have a purpose. We have to do something there before we can move forward. If you look at any great movie, any epic journey that I often talk about, there are detours. There's stuff that happens that comes up that kind of delays their trip to Oz, right? But in hindsight, they can see the meaning, the gratitude that they actually took that detour because maybe they found an important person or a strength that they needed for later. A passage from one of my favorite books I've had forever called Until Today by Ilana Van Zandt. A daily devotion for spiritual growth and peace of mind. She says, on May 9th, I am now receptive to the idea that everything I am seeking is on its way to me. When you least expect it, she says, the very thing you want, the thing you have been praying for with all your heart, is going to come to you from nowhere. Nowhere is a spiritual location that leads to now here. So if you break down the word nowhere, it is now here. The thing you have wanted for so long is going to drop into your life without you having done or having to do anything. In fact, it will probably show up on the very day you did not pray, the day you did not work yourself into a frenzy trying to make something happen. In fact, it'll probably slip into your life so quietly, with such grace and ease, you may not believe it at first. In fact, you might be a little frightened. It is frightening to think that life could be so easy, so graceful, so almost uneventful as to have the thing you have been praying for show up without you rough riding it. Again, I think what she's speaking to there is put it out there, then let go. And trust. And I know that that can be one of the most difficult things to do. However, it is important to be open and flexible and just open-minded and see what happens. And I don't really think it matters here for this discussion where you believe the guidance comes from. That can be whatever you need it to be for you. I think spirituality is a very personal and a very vulnerable and evolving journey. I don't think it's static. And I think we need to find that path for ourselves. I think what matters most, again, is trusting yourself, which in my view means not going against whatever you think your guidance is, no matter where you think it originates from. You know, it's interesting, when I worked in treatment and clients went to 12-step meetings, their step 2 would be came to believe in a power greater than themselves could restore them to sanity. Now, I interpreted this as they had to actually experience it, to see it happen, to fake it till you make it was the phrase. You pretend that you have a divine higher power that is all-knowing and all-loving to guide you and to create miracles. But you would have to actually experiment and experience good things happening before you could believe it, like, oh wow, I guess that is true. Look how that happened. There's no way that was a coincidence kind of thing. So I think whether you find yourself to be purely religious, agnostic, atheist, or a law of attraction fan, I encourage you, if you don't already have something, seek something, find something that works for you, and try it out. Just be open to what's out there, or inside of you, who knows, to guide you, and follow your best instincts. Okay, so here I have some thoughtful questions I want you to answer for yourself. If you're walking or jogging or in a space where you can't write this down, that's fine. I'm going to have them as a bonus download in the show notes so you're covered. Okay, you ready? Number 1. Have you ever had a visceral reaction, like a physical reaction before something happened? Or when you first heard the news or noticed something? Later, did that reaction make sense? Number 2, when you look back over your life, do you see coincidences or divine guidance that simply had no other explanation, like a miracle type of experience that has no logical explanation? Number 3, in what ways do you already use your guidance? And how has it impacted your life when you have followed it? What about when you haven't? What regrets do you have today because of that? Number 4, what do you still wonder or wish you believed in, and why? And number 5, what would it take for you to get quiet, to let go, and trust more? Okay, so again, just some thought-provoking questions to kind of think about. I encourage you, when you have time, to journal some of this out for yourself. See what you find out. So today we talked a little bit more about finding and using your internal GPS. And I think it's all about being open-minded. It's all about letting go, trusting, and sometimes just experimenting. And whether you believe in the power of suggestion, all the way to pure faith and anything in between, I encourage you to be open and at least get quiet and see what comes for you. Because again, I really think this increases our self-trust and we feel more grounded and calmer. And these days, we need that more than anything, especially because there's so much fear right now that we can lose who we are and be so externalized in that fear. And that fear is real. And it's good fear that gets us off our ass to do things like quarantine and protect ourselves. But we can also be taken outside of ourselves in too much fear. Fear over stuff we have no control over. So I think it's a great time to get grounded either way. Whether you use prayer or meditation or a walk or journaling, whatever you want to do. Well, thank you for being here with me today, and I hope you and your loved ones stay well. If you're already a subscriber and signed up for the Tribe News, you will get your newsletter today with the bonus download with the thoughtful questions. If not, just go to ownitpowercast.com, go over to the show notes and sign up. It's that easy, and you'll get that every Tuesday. All right, so take good care of you, pay it forward, and I'll see you next time.
We hope you took away some useful insights and tools you can begin using right away. If you did, please leave a positive review and share on your social media. Because could you imagine if everyone in your life really got it together? Remember, own it now, so you can really own it later.